Bonjour, peeps. Hi, this is Neshi Lilkatz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page here at Facebook, where I do a daily live stream, well, pretty close to every day, for the card draw of the day. Yeah. So good afternoon, and it is Sunday, October 14th, and we have a cloudy, cold day here in northwestern Wisconsin. Um, yeah, it's been raining since late last night, and that's George. That's George. Yeah, he's getting pretty big, and he woke up from a nap, and so now he's ready to play. Yeah, so not so much to do a live stream, huh? So, and I didn't bring up any of his toys. Rats. Rats. I usually have goodies in his Kong, and he usually plays with that. And well, we'll see how far we get. um, so anyway, I was saying it's kind of chilly here. It's been raining, and right now, when I came in, it was sleeting. So that means that it's getting cold enough for it to form those ice crystals. We have snow supposedly on the horizon this afternoon or this evening. I do know that north of us, because I have relatives who live north of us, they say that it's snowing there. Yeah, so it's on its way. It's here. Hey, Rochelle. Rochelle is in the live chat, and so is Mary Anderson Fry. Do you ever notice I like to say your full name, Mary? I do. It's so lyrical. And I'm going to try to make sure we have a good. Oh, those baby teeth are still pretty sharp. Yeah. Hey, you be nice. Be nice. There we go. There you go. Good boy. All right. So here I'm broadcasting from Star Nations Academy, and I was just looking out the back door here, back windows, and a lot of the trees are bare. They lost their leaves, and let me tell you, there's a few that still have leaves on them though, kind of a goldish yellow color, really pretty. That's George. He thinks that he's going to try to jump up on my lap, and I could bring him up here, I suppose, and let you see him, but he's getting pretty big. Let's see if I can do it. Come here, Georgie. Oh, good boy. See if I can do it. Come here, Georgie. Come here. Up we go. Up we go. Oh, he's a big boy. This is Georgie. Hello, George. Yeah, there we go. Look at Georgie. Isn't he a good boy? He's a good boy. He just wanted to be on camera, I guess. I don't know. He likes being Facebook famous. Although, lately, quite a bit, because he's getting, I don't know if he's hitting the terrible twos or what. It used to work to deter him and to kind of put him in another direction when he was getting all jumpy or bitey or whatever. Isn't working anymore. And I didn't want to use his kennel as, where'd it go? Go get it. Didn't want to use his kennel as, a deterrent. But that's what I resorted to for the timeout. And the first time Paul saw him in his kennel with a towel over the front of it so he couldn't see out. Paul comes in, he goes, "What's up with George?" And I said, "Oh, he's in timeout." He wasn't listening very well and couldn't get him distracted. And so Paul started calling it Facebook jail because there is such a thing as Facebook jail. So here we go. Here you go. Good boy. And he's gotten to the point where he likes to be on my lap. And usually that's only if I'm on the floor, right? On the floor, yeah. Thank you, Rochelle. Rochelle is saying she shared the broadcast, the live stream. I appreciate that. I'd be sharing it too, but my hands are really busy right now. So if you guys wouldn't mind sharing it out and liking the live stream, that would be fabulous. And I would do it too, but we're having a little bit of a power struggle right now. Ow, ow, ow. No, that's enough. That's enough. Here, there you go. There. Yep. He is a handful this afternoon. See, he always has to get the last word in too. Maybe it's not terrible twos. Maybe he's hit his teenage years. I'm gonna try a little oil here. A little lavender, because that way it kind of he's saying, I dare you, put it on me. There we go. Just on his ears. Just on his ears. There we go. I know. He's going to make this live stream a little difficult to do. You know, usually he goes to sleep, right? He usually sleeps underneath my chair. But today, he wants to play. Either that or fight. I'm not sure which. Okay, now that's enough. That's enough. George, listen. Right. You know, and they say about the neutering, because we are going to do that. Careful. Sit. Georgie, sit. Good boy. Down. That's a good boy. Yeah, there we go. And maybe that could be part of what's going on, right? We've never had a male dog before, so I'm not sure. Okay, down. Good boy. Down. That's a good boy. I'm going to run out of treats pretty soon. Oh, Rochelle's saying that she's having shoulder surgery on November 29th, on Thursday. Well, we'll certainly keep you in our prayers. Georgie, down. We'll keep you in our prayers for you. Down, all the way. Down. Where'd it go? I think it's underneath your paw. Yeah. Hi, Julie Shumway is in the chat. Good to see you in chat again. I like that. I like spending time with you guys. You know, that's the fun part. The card draw, you know, I do every day anyway. This little guy, if I had a car to put him in right now, I would. But Paul has my car. Shush. Paul has my car. And I could try to ignore him. I mean, George, not Paul. And we'll see what happens. You know, can't look at him. See, if we were down at the house, I would have him in the corner. I might have. Yeah. There. Maybe he got tired of it. I don't know. We'll see. So, now that my hands are free, somewhat, I am going to do a quick share to get the live stream out. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to share it to my timeline. There we go. I'm going to like it, and I'm going to share it. I'm going to write a post to my timeline. And I'm just going to say, hi, friends. I'm live streaming right now. And then to please join. Join me. There we go. You know, it's simple enough to do, right? It's just remembering to do it. That's the thing. And I think while I'm here, I'm just going to do a quick share to the network closed group. And there we go. Good. All right. Now, today's energy read, we've had this card before, actually. And it's called the Traveler. See, it's called the Traveler. Yeah. And okay. All right. Okay. All right. Here we go. Good boy. All right. So the Traveler. And, we can take this in a couple of different ways because it says move in a new direction. Move, move in a new direction. I know. What would you like to do? You should be going to sleep. You should be taking a nap. Hmm. Yeah. Good boy. That's a good boy. So lay down. Yeah. Good boy. See, he listens sometimes. So this is the card, the Traveler. Move in a new direction. When I was looking at this card earlier this morning, there's a compass in the upper corner, right? But when we're traveling, we can physically travel. We can also spiritually travel. We can do that soul traveling, right? And when I was reading, because we've had this card before, and when I was rereading the information, there's a couple of things that kind of jumped out at me that I wanted to share with you. The message says, welcome any opportunities to travel, either to be to the outer world or to the inner world. And the last time we had this card, it was the energy was about traveling out here in our physical world. Okay. And we talked about how many people like to go to new places and experience new things and that sort of thing. But this one, I really do believe it feels anyway to me that it's more about traveling within because of the cards that we got yesterday about winter and going within, being like a mountain, right? That keeping up with that theme is that this time of year we have the opportunity when it's cold and rainy like it is today to be at home, right? And to find things to do, quiet stuff at home. And so a lot of people, me included, sometimes it's curling up with a good book or taking a nap. For some people, it is doing some baking maybe or doing some sort of project work. My mom does beadwork, that kind of thing. And even though we our hands may be busy, um, we get to maybe do that inward travel because it's quiet. It's a quiet time. Yeah. And so that's what I was thinking. I know Julie's going, hi, darn autocorrect. I know. I've done that too. But I kind of knew what you meant. The author of the deck that we're using, he says the traveler card represents a gypsy spirit within. The opportunity to move in a new direction is coming your way, and ancestral wisdom is encouraging you to welcome it with open arms. I hate to say this, guys, but it's snowing right now. Yeah, big, big, big wet flakes. Hmm. Yesterday, or was it the day before? I was sharing that you could feel it in the air that that the season was shifting, right? That we were going from fall to winter because it's that certain feeling in the air, and that wind has a little bit of more of a cold bite to it. Well, I think he'd settled down. All right. And so Kyle also goes on to say is that you have a chance to go through a process of awakening and understand even more about the amazing qualities you have to share with the world. Often such journeys can be lonely, but this in itself can teach you that you are never really alone and your angels and ancestors are there for you. And for me, that's very comforting. And I ask them for help all the time. There was a time in my life when I didn't. When you know, sometimes we live in the Midwest, and we have that thing called work ethic, right? And if you're idle, you're not producing anything. You're not accomplishing anything, and so it's constantly go 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 go. Get this done, get that done. Look how much I've accomplished, right? A lot of doing. And in that doing, how we define our success, right? And um, I don't know, it must have been my late 30s or so. I started reading a whole bunch of information. Started out with positive mental attitude stuff. And yeah, I started making that shift and actually asking my spiritual team for help, and finding that it made just asking made the path a little bit smoother. I'm not saying it was perfect, because I still had life lessons to learn. But turning to our angels and our ancestors, to our spiritual team, um, it is very helpful. It is. And we're never alone because they're with us 365 days a year, 24/7, right? All we have to do is ask. And some and it's okay, even for the little things. Um, Many of us get really good at finding parking spaces close to the entrance of the store or whatever, right? Um, and so it asking even for the smallest thing, um, and we're nurturing a relationship, right? Yeah, it's getting to know our team and how we work best together. Um, and so we're establishing that rapport, that way to be able to tap them and say, hey, I need some help here. So this is what I do in the mornings when I do the card draw. I usually have my glass of water because that's part of my routine in the mornings is I drink a big glass of water. Sometimes I have lemon in it, sometimes I don't. But that's the first thing I and mom is taken care of usually, and she's already back in her room, and she's got, I don't know, MSNBC or something on. And so I either go into the living room or in the fourth season where it's a little bit quieter, and I connect with my spiritual team. And I call to them and I ask them to come close. And I thank them. I'm so glad you guys are with me and helping me. I appreciate it. And could you please show me the energy that's important for us to know about today for our highest good and that we can share with others? And they're using this deck of cards, right? And, and then I start shuffling. So every morning, I make connection with my team. Yeah. Some people call it a team meeting, that when they do their connection with their team is that they literally ask about, so what is it that I need to know about today? Or this is what's happening today on my calendar. Please be with me to do such and such. Show me the best step I can take with this or that. Yeah. So it's establishing that. And so that travel, this is the card that we got. The first card is traveler. So it's not necessarily physical travel, although it can be that. Today, I believe it's about traveling inward, going inward, and asking our team for help. Kyle says, remember to keep things simple and to lighten your load. Because he says, if it isn't about covering outer distances, it's about covering distances within, and you'll be evolving every single moment of it. And so to remember to keep things simple and to lighten your load, because that will make your journey more enjoyable. And there's a good chance that along the way, you'll make new friends and who'll become companions for a lifetime. So depending on what you're doing when you're traveling inward, it's possible that maybe you're not just asking for spiritual help, but maybe you're asking for a physical help. Maybe you're going to a healer, or maybe you're going to your pastor or your priest or something like that. And so you're establishing. Okay, so we all have a spiritual team, right? Our guides, our angels, our ancestors, our power animals, our totems, all of our helpers in spirit. But we also have a physical team too. We all do. And that physical team are the healers and those people that we go to for assistance in the physical world. So it could be your chiropractor, it could be your clergy person, it could be your best friends, your inner circle. It could be um, a massage therapist. It could be your medical doctor or nurse practitioner. You know, we have a team in the physical world too. When I was working diligently, very consciously on my immune system, um, I had my spiritual team, but I also had my physical team, and that included my chiropractor and my massage therapist. It also included my medical doctor and my dentist, and and all of them. In fact, the one dentist that I had a natural doctor, um, Marianne. A lot of you know her, and we were working with my gallbladder at the time. And I went to the dentist, and you know how they always ask about that medical information? And so I had put down Marianne's name and where she was from, and that she was a natural doctor. My dentist took um, an opinion about that, and she was asking, I'm asking about a medical doctor. I said, she is a medical doctor. She studied as many years as a Western medical doctor, you know. And so I had to stop my dentist and say to her, okay, now wait a minute. I respect you just like I respect my natural doctor. And if you can't respect my natural doctor who is on my team to help me to be in a healthy place in my physical body, I said, then I don't need you on my team. I want a different dentist. And that really stopped her kind of in her tracks. And I said it nicely. I didn't say it, with accusation or anything like that. It's just I said, she went to many years of education just like you did, and she has a large clientele, patients, and um, and so I ended up with a different dentist in the same building in the same business, but my dentist now is the owner of that business. It's not one of his associates, and so we have help both in the spiritual world and also in the physical world. And so this card that we got this morning, Traveler, I believe it's about traveling within, taking that time to go into the quiet and to work on our inner healing. You know, yesterday we were talking about having the opportunity to face our fears, to face those aspects of us that we call our shadow selves, that darkness, um, and to be able to do whatever healing that we need to do around it, so that we have more access to our gifts and to our intuition. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness, Anne's here. Hi, Anne. Anne and my sister, Barbie. Good to see you in the chat. Yeah. Hey, I got your message about our anniversary yesterday. I told Paul about your message. He said, of course, you guys take good care of me." Barb is my cousin, and in the culture we grew up in is that we're sisters because our mothers were sisters, and so yeah, that's good. And Bill's here too. Good to see you, Bill, in the chat. Bill is a good old friend of ours from those Marshfield days. Yeah, that was a long time ago, wasn't it? So it's about that traveling within. So we're heading into that time of year where it's a quieter time, right? Like today when the weather is kind of so much mixture and it's cold. The wind is cold and it's rainy and damp. Most of us want to be inside, and when we're indoors, we have the opportunity to take care of ourselves, and maybe do a meditation. You know, maybe take some time to talk to our spiritual team and let them know what we need help with. Yeah, why not? Right. And so that travel is inward. So the second card that came is this one. Great teacher. Don't you like the artwork on that? Great teacher. It's a learn about spirit, learn from spiritual experiences. And in the background is the flower of life, sacred geometry, the dove, the bird of peace. And the man, I think that he has, I don't know, a stereotypical kind of um, feeling of Jesus, right? That's how a lot of people might depict him in a drawing. Yeah. So the great teacher um, is can be yourself too. Let's see. We need the great teacher. Page 36. I'm so glad George fell asleep. Yeah, I think he hit the terrible twos. So it's the message is about learn from spiritual experiences and know that what is happening around you is divinely inspired. Learn from your current experiences and then share them with others. Learn from your current experiences and share it with others. So when we go through, this is my 2 cents, when we go through a challenging time, right? Some people might call it the dark night of the soul. Um, we learn a lot about ourselves and a lot about the people in our lives. We learn a lot about our strengths and our weaknesses, and we learn that those life lessons that we gain from it um, is our wisdom. When we come out on it from the other side, we've gone through it, right? And we've gained so much from that experience that sometimes we can actually turn around and help someone else because now maybe we have resources that we can help them with. Somebody who's going through something similar, that you have, oh, I went to this person and they were really good with this or that. Um, I listened to this live stream, or I watched that YouTube video. And so you have resources. Maybe it was books that you read. And then you can share the information from that. That's all a part about our wisdom, right? Um, but even more so, I think we have an empathy. We have a deep well of compassion that comes along with that, because somebody's going through something similar. You feel for them. It's like, oh my gosh, I can remember when I went through that, or something similar to that. And you even if you just share that with them, sometimes they don't feel so alone, right? Yeah. Or sometimes maybe all it does is just say hi to them in social media. Send them a video or a card letting them know that you're thinking about them. And if you live in the same area, it's maybe meeting for tea or coffee or something, and not necessarily talking about their situation unless they want to. Maybe it's time that they get a break from it. Yeah. To go out and have a little fun. Maybe go to a movie, or just have a good time laughing while you're having a cup of tea. Sometimes that's all it takes. And so you have compassion for someone else. You have empathy because you've been there. You know what it feels like. Um, and so we get a chance to be able to share our experiences and our resources with them. Now, Kyle goes on to say that this card was inspired by Jesus, who is one of the most widely acknowledged and loved spiritual teachers of all time. Now, whether or not you have Christianity as your spiritual belief, um, Jesus was and is an ascended master. Um, and he can come to you as a teacher, a spiritual teacher, whether you're Christian or not. Because of the wisdom that he holds, the frequency, the vibration. that he came in with, and the messages that he brought with him, right? So it's just like when you might be Christian, but you have Buddha coming to you. It's the same thing. Buddha just happens to be Jesus's older brother, is all. Um, and so they have, in spirit, they have that ability to be able to come to many, many, many thousands, maybe even millions of people, to offer assistance. And Kyle goes on to say, there's a great teacher in every tradition, and this card represents the one to whom you feel closest, as well as the great teacher within. And I think this is the message of the card for today, anyway, is the great teacher within. The teacher wears simple clothes here to demonstrate that even if you live a simple life, it can be an incredibly spiritual one. He is surrounded by a sense of serenity and harmony because he has absolute trust in the higher power that moves through him. And the dove on the card represents receiving answers to prayers through signs and experiencing peace through joy. So, really, it's about our growth, our spiritual growth again, and that the greatest teacher is from the inside, on the inside, not on the outside. We have mentors possibly on the outside. Um, but my belief is that we don't need a person between us and the Creator, between us and God, that we have a direct connection, and that we don't have to go through another person's filters or their belief system to have access to the Creator, right? And that great teacher inside, we have many teachers in spirit. We have they're part of our spiritual team. So I think that this card is also about going within. And when we have that opportunity to go within, um, to find out what I tell you what, if I had a dime for every time I've been asked about how do I find my soul purpose, how do I don't know what I'm doing here, why am I even here, what's my soul work, we keep talking about it, that phrase, and then we get the question about how do you know when you're doing your soul work, you know um Oh, Rochelle. She says, "You are so knowledgeable and a great teacher." Well, thank you, Rochelle. I, you know, it, I'm teaching from what I've experienced. Um, and that's even in a class. And right here, right now, is more about a conversation, I think. Um, and when I ask you the guys the questions is so that we can have a conversation, right? And so when you have the opportunity in that quiet space and you go within, well, number one, do you do you go within, and second of all, do you make conscious contact with your spiritual team? Because you can actually go in quiet meditation and ask, please show me, come to me, the teacher who is helping me the most right now, and wait and see what you sense, feel, or see. Sometimes it comes in a dream. You might make the request and you don't get anything. You think, well, wow, well, okay, I guess I don't have a teacher, but you do. Sometimes they come to you in a dream. Sometimes they come to you in, let's say you pick up a book and you see somebody's name. One time, this is probably a good 15 years ago, I was teaching a 2-week certification course for feng shui and space clearing. And we were done, and the students had gone home. I had taken down the altar. Our dog at the time was Ginger, and she was in puppy daycare. Paul was at work. And so I had a little bit of time on my own, and I kind of got tired, you know? I mean, holding energy for a class for 2 weeks is a long time. And so I decided to lay down on the couch for just a few minutes, and I thought, I had been asking to know who my three highest vibrational teachers were, and I got two names. And the third one didn't come to me, and I thought, well, now might be a good time. It's quiet. I can I can go into meditation while I'm lying here and ask again. So I did, and I was kind of in between awake and asleep, right? And what I saw was I was walking in sand, and I had sandals on, leather sandals, and I could see, how a long skirt or dress or something like that. When I walked, I could see kind of like an off white, like a coarse woven kind of material as I was walking, and looking down, like I was looking down at my feet, right? And I could hear one of my guides say, "Go to Egypt." Go to Egypt. Okay, my teacher's in Egypt, was Egyptian, and it was just repeated, "Go to Egypt." So I made the time to go online and Google Egyptian god and goddesses. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. And so I'm scrolling through the names, just looking at the names, scrolling. And then there was a name that came up, and it was like a beacon. Um, the name was Seashat. Seashat. And I'm looking at that, and I'd never seen the name before, never heard the name before. And so I clicked on it, and it turns out that Seashat was the first wife of Thoth. And Thoth was a high priest, Egyptian priest, and he's the one who gave us the phrase "as above, so below; as within, so without." Okay. Well, Seshat was the first female scribe, and so I started getting to know Seshat much better, looking, reading about her, and connecting with her in my meditations. And she's helped me a great deal. There's something about called the path of Seshat, and the path of Seshat is what some people might know as the middle path. It's a balance between energies. We're balanced between the male and female energies. We're balanced between our head and our heart. And so she has been one of my great teachers, really. So when you're in meditation, you can ask to meet them. Has anybody done that in live chat? Asked to meet your teachers in spirit teachers? I'm curious. And if you did, if you don't mind sharing even one of their names, that would be kind of great too. So, um, what else did Kyle say? He says that this card can represent a teacher in your life or the great teacher within. Either way, it shows that you have dedicated a lot of time, effort, and energy to understanding yourself and the world. You're having a spiritual experience at this time and gaining a greater awareness of what you need to do in order to grow. There's a great chance that you've been having any challenges recently, you've surmounted them and allowed them to be vehicles to lessons that are helping your soul, your spiritual connection. Yeah, so it is about going within. And we talk a lot about this at Star Nations, is doing your personal inner work, your own healing the emotional and mental traumas, right? Because those are the ones that tend to have the most energy to blocking your soul growth. And that means access to your spiritual gifts that you came in with innately, that you were born with, that you came in with, that the Creator gave them to you, right? And it also blocks or interferes your connection to your intuition. Yeah. And so when we do our inner work, we're really doing our soul growth. Hey, Minnie Kansman's with us. Yeah. You're doing yard work. She says, taking a break from yard work. We did that yesterday, kind of dealing with a lot of leaves. We have a lot of maple trees. We were doing that yesterday. Thank goodness, because today's weather, it would not have been, we wouldn't have been able to do it. It's been raining since last night, um, all morning, all afternoon, and it was sleeting when I came in. And when I looked up about 10, 15 minutes ago, and we had big, big, big wet snowflakes. Yeah. So good for you, Minnie, for being outside and doing that. Julie is saying, in a dream, I met my spiritual guides named Mora, a collective of teachers. Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Julie. Thank you. And so I would imagine then that you do take time to connect with Mora and asking for direction, asking for assistance, asking for help. Um, you know, it was, let's see, my dad walked on in 2010. So I think it was like 2009, could have been something like that. Um, hmm. I would go into meditation and asking for assistance with something. And it was like quiet, nothing. And I would ask the usual question, I'm working on such and such. Could you please tell me or show me my next best step in doing this so that, um, we can reach completion with it? Nothing, nada, zip, quiet. And it got to the point where it was like, are you guys talking to me or not? Because I know you're there, but why are you not talking to me? Because I'm clairaudient, right? And I went, and it felt, I almost felt like I was back when I was 16, 17, cutting classes, doing that kind of stuff. I was supposed to be working on something. I don't feel like doing that today. I'm not going to do that. And being kind of, revolting in a way. And I went, I was listening to, it was a teleconference call. A friend of mine was doing her very first time of readings for other people publicly. And I wanted to support her. Her name's Tammy. And so anyway, I was on the call, the teleconference call. And I don't even remember what she was talking about anymore, but she was offering mini readings, right? And so everybody was saying, yeah, I want a reading. And I was kind of hanging back a little bit, and allowing people who might not have ever had a reading with her to have the opportunity. And so toward the end of the call, she says out loud that anybody who wanted a reading and didn't get one, please contact me personally and I'll do a reading for you. And so I did. And so she gave me a private reading. And she says to me, she goes, your guides want to know why you're not celebrating. Why are you not celebrating? You've accomplished what you came here to do. It's time to party, and it's like, I said, it would have been nice if they would have told me that. I've been trying to talk to them for weeks. And she said, you weren't asking the right question. I said, I asked them, what's my next best step? And she said, but it was something pretty specific. And I said, well, that's true. And they're saying that there was no next best step because you were done. You're done. I said, no wonder why it felt like I was retiring, yeah, it was very interesting. And then 2 weeks later, I get in the mail from Jules Sheldon. She does, she's a palmist. And what she does, and she's from Michigan, she takes your imprints of your palms and does a reading from them. And it's all written. And actually, it looks like a piece of artwork. And she had a note inside the package saying that after she got done with writing the information, that she had a message come through, and for me, from my guides, and it was something like that you're at the turning and there's nothing left to do. Go on vacation, something like that. And so these two women, Tammy and Jules, they don't know each other. And so there was a validation and confirmation that I had completed what I came here to do. And that was in 2009. So I kind of floated for about a year, taking care of my dad because he was pretty ill. And yeah, and so I had to take some time to figure out what is it that I really want to do. Now that I was finished with what I came here to do. And so it was working and getting a whole slew of new teachers and guides and power animals, and yeah, it was basically starting over. So, which I'm going to be teaching about hopefully in 2019 next year. And so it's a whole different kind of set of classes. Yeah. All right. Um, Rochelle says it's 54 here and half cloudy. Oh, well, at least you guys have some good weather. She says, I still have a hard time meditating by myself. Yeah, yep. You've got the recording that you had. Hopefully, it recorded. I didn't never even checked with you. The meditation that you did here with me, um, and I think I have a couple of. I think the Unity Breath meditation you have. It's recorded. Anytime we've had the last Tuesday of every month, we do that Unity Breath meditation, and that's on YouTube, or you can watch it here on Facebook. So there's a couple of them. But meditating by yourself, it does take some self discipline. It does, to be able to stay with it, right? To stay with it. And sometimes, really, Rochelle, it's not so much sitting in lotus position and quiet. You can do a meditation, a walking meditation. The thing is that you're still having that quiet mind, okay? But you're out in nature, you're moving. Some people are kinesthetic learners, right? And so they have to have movement. Some people, and I did this for a while. My hands were busy. I was knitting. My team wanted me to knit, and I don't find it relaxing at all. I know how to do it, and I was procrastinating, dragging my feet on it, and they every once in a while I would hear the word knit. It's like, so finally I said, all right. This was way back in like 2003, 2004. All right, I'll knit, but I'm not making anything. I don't know. I'm not making anything that I have to count, that we have to reduce stitches or add stitches or learn a new stitch. No, I'm not doing that, but I will knit. Well, I turned out, and I was using the same yarn over and over and over. I would make a scarf and I would undo it, and I'd make another one and I'd undo it. People would ask me, what are you making? Nothing. I'm not making anything. But you know what it was? It was another form of meditation. It was my mental mind had something to do in the knitting. Whereas and it was repetitive, okay? And so that part of me was busy doing that, and my soul, my spirit self, was able to have that quiet time. And I would ask a question to my spiritual team, and then I would listen as I was knitting. Yeah. Well, it turned out that I was starting to knit rectangles at a certain size, and there's a place, Keep America Warm, I think it was called, where you could send these special sized rectangles, ship them in, and they had other people that would crochet them together, and so they would make a blanket, and then they would donate the blankets to different communities, and so it turned out to be a good thing. But It was about keeping the mental mind busy with something that was repetitive. Yeah. So it could be anything. It doesn't have to be knitting. It could be anything. Yeah. Yeah. So Rochelle said, I like to hear my river and I like to draw with pastels. Yeah. So you could do that. It's just as long as it's repetitive, that you're not in your mental mind isn't necessarily engaged in something that's going to pull your attention in that direction, right? That's why a lot of people rock. They rock. It's that repetitive motion, right? And it's self this is a hard one, self-soothing in that rocking. Yeah, yeah. Try it. It's that repetitive motion. Um, that helps that mental mind to give it something to do. Carl Franklin, one of our live stream show hosts and contributing writers to the magazine, um, what he does is he counts. And sometimes it's backwards and sometimes it's forward. It's something pretty simple, just counting backwards from 100. And it gives the mental mind something to do. Yeah. The other thing that works that I do in the classes that I teach is that our we have a mask on. We're our eyes are in the dark. You could use a scarf too. That works. You put it on, and what it does is that it does a couple things. One is it blocks out all of the stimuli from the room around you, the world around you. Um, so because you can't see it, right? You can hear it, but you might not be able to see it. The other thing that it does is that when your physical eyes are closed or in the dark, are I was going to say it's pituitary. That's not right. Thalamus. Oh, sure. Our third eye. What's the organ that's attached to our third eye? Um, it's not pituitary or pineal gland. Our pineal gland. I knew it was a P word. Our pineal gland is is activated by light, whether it is ambient light, like in a room, or sunlight. And so when our eyes are in the dark, our pineal gland kind of takes a nap. And so our mental mind is kind of like taking a nap. And so if you're having problems with meditation, sometimes covering your eyes helps. It helps. It blocks out the stimulation from the room, but it also your pineal gland goes to sleep. It's taking a nap, basically. Whereas your conscious self, your heart, your conscious self, um, is still able to take in information from the meditation. So give that a try. Sometimes that works. Thank you, Julie. Yep, pineal gland. It was a menopausal moment. It's like I knew the word. I could see it. I could see it in the writing. I could, how many times have I taught? It's like, it was right there. Yeah, it was just one of those things. All right. So these two cards that we got today, this was the first one that came, and the second. I believe these two cards are about our journey inward. Our journey inward. This is the this is the traveler, and this is the great teacher. And that we have teachers in spirit who have loads to show us and to tell us, to help us with, and to be able to consciously connect with them, to help you in your soul growth. I think that's what this is about. Yeah, and ask them those kinds of questions about, you know, um, and being honest with yourself is like my greatest fear, right? Or something that's a trigger for you that will bring up anger, um, shame, um, the broken heart, those things, because they can help you, point you in the right direction for resources, or they can teach you how to heal that on your own, or they can tell you that it's all in breath work. So what is breath work? And you got something to research and to learn about. Possibly find a teacher in the physical world that will teach you about breath work, things like that, right? Yeah. So I hope that this was an insightful conversation. I hope so. Rochelle says, thank you for your non-show. Have a great week. You're welcome, Rochelle. You're very welcome. So, whatever we shared today, if it resonated with you, yay, grab onto it, embrace it. See how that energy unfolded or unfolds for you today as you continue with your day. And if it didn't, that's okay too. That wasn't meant for you. And every day, practically, I say, or maybe you're the messenger. Maybe you know somebody who would enjoy the information or has been looking for the information, and you can share the link to the recorded broadcast with them, right? Yeah, there it is. We're here at Star Nations. We're starting a busy week. We have shows coming up starting on Monday evening. Oh, yeah, I think you're going to like Paul Krause's replay. I downloaded an old show that he did when we were still on Blog Talk Radio, and I'm gonna be posting that probably sometime tomorrow afternoon, and so you have a chance to listen to What the Bleep is Zen. It's a really good show. And then there's Julie Hedges with the Tarot Journey. She's got a really good lineup. It's about using your voice. And her guests are Terry Ruel and Nicole Fix. And both ladies, Nicole and Terry, have written for, actually, Nicole is currently writing for the magazine, Star Nations Magazine. And they're going to be talking about the psychological effects of when we use our voice, and especially when we don't use our voice. And that is all about the Me Too movement. Okay. And so that's going to be a really good show. I'm going to see you guys in the chat room for that one because I'm not missing that live show. Tuesday, Polly Joe is back with Chakra Sessions at noon. And then my show is on that evening, Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to be sharing some stuff about the October issue of Star Nations Magazine, some of the backstories to the articles. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. And then Wednesday, we're starting out with Nature Adventures with my co-host, Minnie Kansman, and we're actually talking about autumn and how trees lose their leaves, right? They let go. And so it's about change and about letting go, and what nature shows us. Yep. It's going to be, and I think their show there, it's brand new day, brand new time, Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then that evening is Polly Joe's back with Soul Connections. And so if you are a energy worker and haven't made time to do your own healing work, Wednesday night is a good night. That Wednesday nights weekly are designed for us to work on our own healing. Yeah, I think that's it for the week. It's a busy week. So enjoy the rest of your day. And I appreciate you guys being with me this afternoon. And we'll see you tomorrow for the card draw. They'll be at 2 p.m. Central, 3 Eastern for the card draw information. And so we'll see you then. Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.